Hello again, I'm Gareth with Mountaincoffee Outdoors. Originally this weekend I wanted to come out and do a overnight camp out, and that was the original plan, but by the time I got off work, just basically due to work wearing me out, I decided against coming out and camping overnight because I still had to get some of my stuff together and get out here and all that sort of stuff. So I just figured I'd probably come out today and have lunch or something. And yeah, it's welcome to springtime in the woods, I guess. It is really green around here. The birds are chirping. It's definitely different than what I've been used to for the past several months. The bugs are out, obviously. The poison ivy is starting to grow, which is not very cool. But I don't know if the ticks are out yet or not. Regardless whether they are or not, I went ahead and treated my pants with some permethrin a couple days ago to prevent tick problems. I found the stuff very effective last year, so yeah, taking precautions against ticks already, whether they're out or not. It's been raining the last several days, so it's fairly damp out here. It didn't rain last night, but it was pretty foggy this morning when the sun came up. A lot of moisture in there, definitely. But I figured I'd just come out and cook some lunch over the backpacking stove. I suppose I could light a fire if I feel like it. I don't know if I'm going to feel like doing that, though. But I'm definitely ready to eat some food. I haven't eaten anything yet, and it's 11 something now. So yeah, it'll be good to get some food in me. But that's the plan, and I'll be talking with you later. We have lots of brand new poison ivy springing up all over the place, which, yeah, not the greatest thing in the world, but there's other stuff coming up, like brand new dandelions, ripe for the picking and eating. Yeah, at least when you pick the dandelion greens when they're young, they don't really have a very strong flavor. There's definitely some lettuces that people, buy in the store and put on salads that have a stronger flavor than these. Not bad at all, really. It's not going to do a whole lot for you calorie-wise. Well, first off, I'm going to make some coffee. I'm just going to use this How You Like tea kettle. And I figured just to do something a little bit different that I would make cowboy coffee. Guess I'll get my stove ready to go first here. The MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. The bigger the fuel canister, the more stable it is, obviously. On second thought, I think it would be better for me to actually kind of measure this out somewhat, so I know about how much I put in there. I love these platypus water containers, whatever you want to call them. because they're lightweight, and once you empty them out, you can just kind of, they're flat, so you can just kind of roll them up, put them in your pack. They don't take up very much space. All right, I have about 5 cups. Yep, just empty it out. Roll it up, squeeze the air out of it. Put the cap on it, and now it weighs next to nothing and takes up pretty much no room in your pack either. Get the stove going. Which is really easy with the little electric igniter, whatever you call it, thing. I think a little bit later I came up with a little way to put this stove to the test to see how well of a somewhat distributed flame it has with that wider burner. But you'll have to stay tuned to see what that test is. It's something that I once tried cooking over my MSR Dragonfly stove, and I actually failed miserably at it, but probably wasn't the stove's fault as much as it was mine and how I tried cooking it. But today for lunch I have some of these kimchi flavor noodle soup. It's just like ramen noodles, more of a Korean variety. This is the same thing I made on that Show Us Your Noodle video, except this time I'm not going to add the buckwheat to it. Just see what the flavor is itself. And to cook that, I'm going to use this Dutch military mess tin set. Apparently it's the same thing as the British mess kit set. I've used these before, but it's been quite a while since I have. So I figured give those a shot over the stove. Yeah, I'm gonna make cowboy coffee. Just spoon the coffee right into the pot. Oh yeah, that's right. You just put it in at the start. Kind of forgot about that. You don't have to wait for the water to boil to put it in. Yeah, so I guess if you're looking on an instructional video on how to make cowboy coffee, this might not be the best one for you. Now there's about 5 cups of water in there, so you put about 5 tablespoons or so of coffee. 2, 3, 4, half spoon. 5 plus 1 more for the pot, just like tea. There we go. Okay. Last time I used this tea kettle, I cooked ramen noodles in it, and it worked just fine for that. I've been evaluating just kind of this stove and kettle combination for a lightweight backpacking cook set. Which there's a little baby poison ivy plant coming up right here, of course. And another one. It's definitely a nice day to be out. It's always good to get outside, unless it's maybe oppressively hot or something. Kind of like it best though when a cloud drifts across the sun, because it's just, you know, it's still plenty sunny, but it just kind of gives you that cool break. Can't believe it's May already. Let's crank up the heat a little bit. It's starting to boil. Back that off a fair bit. Alright, so we're boiling. Let's start timing. Yeah, and you have to be careful it doesn't boil over just like it did. There you go, if I can keep that from boiling over. Alright, I'm going to let this boil for a minute now, take it off, and we'll be good. If there's any coffee left in there. That's the tricky part of making cowboy coffee, is that whole boiling over right when it starts boiling thing. Probably just should have taken the lid off. That probably would have helped that somewhat. Alright, shut the stove off. Take that off, set it to the side, and let it cool off a little bit, and then it'll be time to have some coffee. With this Dutch or British mess kit set, it has two of these pans, which are basically the same exact thing. One's just a little bit smaller than the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my noodles in the smaller one, and then I can lay the top one over it and use it for a lid while it's boiling. This one holds just about 4 cups of water. So the other one, I'm not sure exactly how much it holds, but it holds a little bit more, obviously. This will be close to about it holds about 1 liter, and the other one might be about 1.5 liters or so. Fill this about half full of water. Yeah, something like that. Get this boiling. Yeah, that little igniter definitely is a nice addition to the stove. Pour me some coffee. I know that's probably too hot to drink yet. So I'm gonna just lay this. I'm just gonna lay this top one over the other one. Makes a pretty functional lid. I'll pull out the little vegetable seasoning packets here. I think there's just those 2. And crunch up the noodles. This makes it a little bit easier to eat, I think, when you don't have long, stringy bits of noodle flopping all over the place. kind of interesting when you look at the mess kits that different militaries use from different nationalities, because you can tell that some of them have a little bit different method behind them, I guess, or food philosophy. I don't know what you want to call it. All right, we're boiling. Just gonna shut the stove off for now. Throw in the noodles. It says cook for 4 to 5 minutes. Light the stove back up. Yeah, like some militaries, and also I guess you have to keep in mind that some of these mess kits that are sold as like military surplus stuff, you know, those come from different eras. I'd say most of them tend to be on the somewhat older side of things. But you know, some of them are a little bit better suited for cooking food. Other ones are probably a little bit better served, or a little bit better suited to go to a field kitchen and have them plop some food on in your tins and eat it. Not, you know, and those kits might not necessarily be quite as good for cooking. But with probably any of them, you know, you can still boil water in them and do stuff like that just fine. I guess the fact that I'm actually stirring this without feeling secure enough, and that I'm not holding it while stirring, which you really should always do, says something for the stability of it. Feels pretty stable anyway. Of course, a lot of things will probably feel stable enough until it tips over and all your food's in the grass, but yeah, the coffee's not bad. Might just give those a couple more minutes and I'm sure they'll be fine. It looks good to me. Shut off the stove. Add my apparently I was supposed to add the vegetables and soup base while it was boiling. That's alright, I'll just boil a little bit longer. There's the dried kimchi. Pretty sure it doesn't really matter if it's boiling or not. when you add that, as long as you let it sit there long enough for the dehydrated kimchi to hydrate back up. But I'm just gonna, because the stove is so easy to light, I'm just gonna bring it to a boil again for the heck of it. I'm just gonna shut that off, put the lid on it here, and just let it sit for just a bit. Yeah, it's turned out pretty well. I let them sit a while and it really absorbed a lot of that water. That was pretty good flavor. I'd say it tastes better than just regular old ramen noodles. I like meals like this for backpacking because they're lightweight, easy to make, and cheap. A lot cheaper than like freeze-dried backpacking meals. Have a good number of calories in them too, so it'll give you plenty of energy to keep going. It's not too difficult to clean up either. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to use some soap and some water to clean out your pot, your bowl, whatever. But it's not too messy. Times past on some backpacking trips, I would just bring some of those ramen noodle cups that come in the styrofoam cup, and I would just had to make sure to pack them in such a way that they wouldn't get just completely crushed. But you know, just heat up some water and like the jet boil, and just pour it in there and let it sit, and then eat it right out of the cup, and then you just have a styrofoam cup to throw away when you get home. But it worked pretty well, and there's really no cleanup at all with that. Yeah, it's not necessarily the most packable item in the world, but the ramen noodles, and the little noodle brick, those don't take up very much room. And I don't have to worry about the noodles getting broken up because I break them up anyway. That way you can actually get noodles in your spoon and not have them all stringy and trying to slither out off your spoon and out of your mouth and everything else. Yes, it has some good spicy flavor without even adding any extra sauce to it. I have some little sriracha packages with me, but this doesn't really need anything. I've been reading some stuff about the upcoming season of Alone, season 6, I think. And they have released the location. Now, they already had said that it was going to be somewhere up in the Arctic area. So, knew it was somewhere way up north and probably like Canada, Alaska, Russia, maybe Scandinavia, somewhere up there. But as it turns out, they've released the fact that they did it up at Great Slave Lake up in Canada, and it should definitely be interesting. That's definitely a change in environments from the past locations. I guess I kind of wonder up there if obviously it kind of depends on what time of year they did it, but I think that they did it in a time which was, well, in all honesty, they probably did it last fall, I'm going to guess. But I think they were out there at some point in time when it could get pretty cold, but also I know that they didn't have them out there in the middle of winter. So when it comes to food, I don't know like what kind of wild edibles are to be had up in that environment that late in the season. You could probably eat lichens and stuff like that, but I don't know how much nutrition you get from lichen. There's definitely fish, if you could fish for them. I know that lake definitely has, I think that some commercial fishing's even done in that lake. And there's, you know, caribou and bears and other creatures up there. Big animals, I'm sure there's, you know, squirrels, and there's smaller animals, squirrels, birds, and such. So I'm definitely looking forward to that season, watching that season. You know, like I've said before, especially now that I have a little bit of solo survival challenge experience under my belt, have a little better perspective on that sort of thing. And I'll say this, despite, I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but, you know, Great Slave Lake is definitely far north, and it's definitely going to be a very interesting and challenging environment for people to survive in. But there's a little secret. I don't know if I wouldn't call it a secret, but I know something about that area, which I won't ruin it for anybody, but I'd just say look on a map and kind of look close, and there's something up there that might kind of surprise you. I'll give you a little homework to do if you want to find out what I'm talking about. There actually was another TV show on a few years back that took place on that lake. And that's not the surprise I'm talking about, but it is kind of connected in a way. This should definitely make for an interesting season of Alone. Well, some good noodles. Just wash my dishes and kick back, do a little reading, doze off maybe. Just enjoy being out here. It's on a very nice day. Could use a few more clouds though, but I'll try not to be too nitpicky. It's nice to be out. Well, here it is. Here's the stove test. I'm going to try to cook some Jiffy Pop over it. See how it does with that. Well, like I said, once upon a time I tried doing this with my MSR Dragonfly stove, and it didn't really work very well. I wound up burning it pretty badly in the pan and not really popping much of it. See how well this works. Now this Pocket Rocket Deluxe has a wider burner, so it should give you a little somewhat more evenly distributed flame. think it started leaking butter somewhere because I got a little on the stove because it's flaming up. Oh yeah. It's on the fuel tank too. Let's let that burn off a little bit, but doesn't smell burnt. It's definitely burned some butter off in there. All right, let's see how we did. Looks good. No black pieces. Of course, the black pieces would probably be down on the bottom. So there you have it. The MSR Pocket Rocket 2 will definitely cook Jiffy Pop. Little afternoon popcorn snack. Nope, didn't burn. Pretty much perfectly popped. So, the stove did a good job. Well, I think that about does it for this video. It's a good day to get out into the wilds and enjoy lunch and just kind of hanging out in the spring weather. It's definitely good to get out, you know, and just enjoy being outside, even if you're not necessarily going for an overnight camp out or anything longer like that. Just, you know, a few hours just to kind of get away is always good. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Be sure to hit the bell icon so you get notifications when I post new videos. I'll see you next time. I'm Gareth with Mountain Coffee Outdoors. I'll see you then.